Hey everyone, today I'm going to have a little story time and tell you why 21 inches is good enough for me. So this is the story of why I now have 20 and 21 inch screens. I don't have these monster 29, 30, 36 inch screens. These are just my opinions, they're my thoughts. If you love those big monitors, that's cool. Let me know in the comments below. Now, I live in the country of Estonia. It's in the north of Europe, and it's not an ideal place to be a retro gamer. Back in the day, the mid-90s, when the SNES and the Genesis came out, there just wasn't these sort of consoles around. They'd only had democracy for a few years, being re-independent, and even if you had the money to get such a console, it would have been a real pain and a hassle to import it. So there's not a lot of stuff out in the wild here, but it is the edge of the golden age of cheap and great CRTs here. By the late 90s, by the mid 2000s or early 2000s, people had a bit of money, they wanted nice TVs, and the golden age of getting great screens for like 5 or 10 euros is still here. Maybe a few come up every month, they're not too hard to find. I can afford to be picky enough to only get Sony Trinitron TVs, and the great part is, because this is Europe, they all have RGB SCART. These golden days won't be here forever. I have a collection in my storage shed, but for the moment, this is not a bad place. Now, like all of you, I love my CRT. I love the glow. I realize that the screen is kind of screwing with the lighting in my camera. I want that because that's why we love CRTs, that warm phosphor glow. And like all of you as well, you kind of think like bigger is better, right? If you can get 20 inch, why not get 29 inch? Why not get some huge D-series JVC at 36 inches? And I wanted that too. So at first, I eventually found a big Trinitron 29 inch television. Now, I don't live in like some big house. I live in a small European apartment, and it's tough to store this stuff. So I've got a separate storage shed, and I got this 29 inch TV. The guy helped me get it in the back. I've got a big Volvo SUV, and then I had to get it into my apartment. I eventually crab walked this thing up the stairs, got it in here, and then I understood this thing was not coming out. There's no way they could get it out. And I know you're like, just call a friend. Look, I'm an only child. I gotta do things on my own. If I can't do it on my own, I'm a bit like, ah. So yes, I could just call someone over, but I needed to come up with a solution that I could handle just in case. So the first thing I tried was to get a trolley, and those trolleys that have got the 3 wheels on them, but it's metal and it's hard. So I cut up an old yoga mat and I taped it up, and I put a little wooden pallet underneath it so the trolley could literally just slide in, and then I could strap it in. And it's not bad, it worked. It's very, very good for flat surfaces. Stairs, it was still tough. The thing, you had to hold it with all of your strength getting it down the stairs, step by step. And of course you don't want to bang, bang, bang down the stairs, so you've got to be gentle. And it was a slow process. It wasn't kind of going to my plan. Then I got it downstairs into the car park, and then I tried to take the whole trolley and TV and it up into the back of the tray of the SUV. It didn't fit. It was too tall even to lay it on the back and put it in. So then I had to unstrap the TV, lift that up, some sort of like strongman style. By the way, as a side note here, how the hell does Steve from RetroTech move that 36-inch JVC? Have you see that clip? How he makes it look like it's a stone. What do they feed in that boy? So I got the TV into the back of my car, and I decided to travel up to my storage room. And this is where the story gets a little bit wacky. Because just the day before, I'd had my engine serviced on this car, had the engine rebuilt, and let's just say, I don't think the mechanic was very good. Because by the time I got to the storage room, about 10 minutes away, the car was out of fuel. And you're like, what? It's also, might I add, winter, -15 outside here. It's pretty cold. I've got to sit for an hour to wait for my friend to come with some fuel in a can. I know I still had to wait for someone to come eventually. My friend comes, I refill the car, and by this stage, I'm like, fuck this. I've been sitting in the cold for an hour. I don't want to go into that storage room. I just want to go home. I'll come back tomorrow. By the time I got home, my car was on fire. I got in there and there was smoke coming out from the front of the car. There was smoke coming out from the edges. I managed to park in my thank God it was an outside car park. I opened the bonnet. I tried with the fire extinguisher, but it was no use. You can see that's a real photo. That's not a movie or nothing. It seems what there was a fuel leak when the guy repaired the motor. That's what had caused the initial loss of fuel. By the time I got home, that fuel had ignited. I called the fire department. 7.5 minutes later, those guys arrived. They do their best to put it out, but the car is done. I'm a little bit disturbed, but it's quite a moment in your life when you sit back and you watch your car burn. I'm Australian, I live on the other side of the world. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? And then I remember, oh shit, I had that. And not only did I have that 29-inch Trinitron in the back, I had a 14-inch PVM and my Wii in there as well. It took me 3 days before I could build up the courage to go and look in the back of the car. That's how mentally scarred I was. The 29-inch Trinitron was gone. It had melted. It was too big. The PVM I managed to get out. I did manage to get the PVM out. It's water damaged. There's like water and chemicals that the fire department uses. I dried it out. I have a sauna, so I put it in the sauna on really low heat just to let it dry out. Then to turn it on, I put an extension cord from the other side of the room and flicked it on the other side of the house just in case this thing exploded in front of me. It didn't explode. It turned on. And even though it was covered in soot and it stinks because that chemicals that the fireys use, it turned on and that was nice. But the PVM only worked for about 2 more days. And I think what happens is the corrosion sinks in and sinks into the components, and now it still stinks to high hell and won't even turn on. I don't have the heart to throw it out, but that's how it goes. It was hard to know all that stuff burnt in the back of my car. So after that, I gave up. I'm not going to get another trolley. I'm not going to move these monsters. You can see that huge. I've still got a 29-inch Trinitron in my storage room. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's staying there for the moment. And for now, I just want this. This is beautiful. 21 inches, easily transportable. Look, I can pick it up. Look, yes, I can hold it in one hand and move it around. It's perfect. Don't move your screens while they're on. I'm convinced that's not a good idea. When you want to move your CRT into tate mode, turn it off first. It's Lewis's tech tip of the day. So now I'm all about 20-inch. I can leave it in my lounge room. I can move it around to this filming room here. I can watch some VHS or play some games in the main room. It's easy. It's nice. And no, it's not a BVM, because incidentally, I do have a 20-inch BVM and it is beautiful. But it's big and long and heavy. Even though it's got handles, I can carry that. This thing looks acceptable in a lounge room, and it's great. This is exactly what you need. Don't let anyone tell you that you need the PVM, you need the BVM. Yes, we're nerds, we have the autism. Use composite, use S-video, use RGB component, use RF. Good RF is just the same as composite. Use whatever you can. Get yourself any CRT. They're beautiful to play on. Thanks, that's my little story. That's all I wanted to say for today. Just one final thing. Even though it's a great time to be a CRT collector in my country, I've noticed that some people, like some sellers, are like legendary, retro, you know the ones, and they put the really high prices and they think that they're going to get 100, 150 euros for the TV. But coincidentally, weirdly, every time I see someone trying to sell a CRT for 100 or 150 euros, it's always a 100 hertz set. And they obviously don't understand that 100 hertz is dog shit for 240p and for most of your retro games. and then they wonder why their thing doesn't sell. Thanks for watching. Keep tuned. Please like and subscribe if you like my little story time. I love my CRTs. I got a whole bunch of them in my storage room. I'm keeping the dream alive. Hope you are too. See you next time.